My name is Hasan Kwame Jeffries, Associate Professor in the Department of History at The Ohio State University. My area of specialty is 20th century African American history with a particular focus on the civil rights and Black Power movements. I think the interest is partly personal. I mean, having grown up in Brooklyn, New York, in the coming of age in the 1980s and just seeing what was around me growing up and the levels of inequality, the levels of difference, and just trying to make sense of it at the time really led me down this path of historical exploration into sort of contemporary America, modern U.S. history, just trying to figure out and make sense of what I was seeing. And I never deviated from that path. And then as I got a little bit older, through college and especially through grad school, I zeroed in on not just trying to understand what I was seeing, but how to make change and how did people address these issues in the past. And so that led me to sort of explore social movements and specifically sort of the civil rights movement and different aspects of the African American freedom struggle. My first book was Bloody Lowndes, Civil Rights and Black Power in Alabama's Black Belt. And it really tells a remarkable story of the young people, SNCC organizers who partnered with local people in a rural county in the heart of Alabama in the mid-1960s after the Voting Rights Act, and transformed that county from a citadel of violent white supremacy into the center of Southern black militancy by creating the first Black Panther Party, an all-black independent political party, the Lowndes County Freedom Organization, in a bold bid to take control of the county courthouse and really the lives of local people down there. And you wind up looking at things that you didn't necessarily anticipate looking at. I'm looking at the civil rights movement, but it's a rural county, and so I'm deep into the agricultural and stabilization and conservation service records, right? I know more about sharecropping and cotton harvest and sweet potato harvest than I ever thought I would care to. I think graduate students would be served well by coming to Ohio State and working with me specifically, but then also working with my colleagues in the department because we do things, I think, a little bit differently. We approach the study of the civil rights movement and study of African American history from multiple perspectives. Not only are you going to get the traditional narrative, and you have to understand that because to a certain extent you'll be writing against that, but we'll also, working with me, it's all about the people. It's all about the people who made change, ordinary people, everyday people, the people who we often overlook, whose voices are too often silenced and not heard or marginalized. And I want to shine a light on them. I think one of the benefits of taking the courses that I teach, the subject matter, African American history, civil rights, Black Power, social movements, African American history through film, i.e. media, is that it helps students make sense of not only the issues that are still confronting us today as a society, that are playing out in the streets of America, whether it is in Ferguson or New York City or down in Dayton or in Cleveland, Ohio, but it helps us understand why that is still the case, why these issues are still confronting Americans, and most importantly, why Americans, especially along racial lines, can see the same thing so differently. Because that's just not a contemporary issue. That's rooted in historical experience and historical perspective. And so what we do in the classroom is try to get the students to see the reason and origins of these various perspectives so that when these issues surface, and they inevitably will, they're not going anywhere, they can make sense of them for themselves. And most importantly, they can engage in conversation with student peers, with family members, with coworkers, from a perspective of a knowledgeable perspective, and hopefully sort of change discourse and change minds along the way. The course material that we're talking about is not just about the African American experience, it's about the American experience. And what is it about the American experience that they may not have been taught or exposed to in their lives up to this point? And what does that say not only about their education, but about how they understand the world in which we live today? And there are a number of students who, coming from that experience, coming from that background, get into my classes on the African American experience of the civil rights movement, and are just blown away, one, by how much they did not know, how much they were not taught, but then the truth behind some of the things that they believed to be true that were not in fact true. And so there's this moment of just sort of shock and surprise, and it's almost like going through the stages of grief and then they come out of it really energized and wanting to know more, wanting to know the truth, or seek sort of better understanding for what they accepted to be true in the past, for which they now have questions about today. And I tell them going in, it's like, look, I'm not here to change your mind. I'm just here to open it so that you can let in things that you would not have before the class. Optimism is really about pace and change, right? How quickly do you think things can change? Things move slowly. Society moves slowly. So I'm not necessarily optimistic on that front, but I am hopeful. And I'm hopeful because I know things have changed in the past. And I know that people fighting for change haven't given up, even when the odds were stacked even more against them yesterday than they are against us today. So as long as that is there, and we know history tells us that it is there, then I do believe that things will change for the better, not necessarily tomorrow, but somewhere down the road.